Friend reached out to me and he sent me a message about a copy. He said it was a title about a lady said, I lost my husband the day we landed abroad. The untold truth about relocation. While I was still digesting, I don't know if many of you have seen that on Instagram or abroad. She said her husband started drifting apart. Their relationship, he wasn't the man she knew anymore. And everything is virtually, they are separate. And they were tight. She was wondering why. Just as I was dwelling on that, last week I got reached out by a friend of mine who relocated his family about 7 years ago. That, I think Nigeria is not looking too sure. I want to assure them of I want to give them a good life, what I didn't have. And his wife and the 3 kids moved to Canada. He sold his house, sold one of his properties, and got some money. He was able to deposit as much as 30% deposit for his mortgage. Now he's been visiting them and coming back to Nigeria, visiting and coming. But recently, he has located and went to stay with them permanent. He said everything is chaos. Everything, these were role model couples to us then. These were our go-to guy whenever we had any issues in relationship. And I was asking him what happened. He said, when I got there, first of all, my son was doing very well academically. Now I saw him. I don't know if he wants to be a musician or if he wants to be an artist. He lacks direction. I don't know what the mother did to them. My daughter had a misunderstanding because she had a navel piercing, and I was telling her this. Anyway, to cut the long story short, my children are asking me when am I going to go back to Nigeria. That I should go back. I'm cramping their life. I'm having so much challenge with my wife. He has retrained the children. My son was the best student in his class. My daughter won valedictory in her class. These are the things. These children are no more. He plays game 207. He's doing menial job. He said he doesn't think he wants to go to university. And that's where the little misunderstanding happened. Now, on the other part, I've put in a lot of time. I've worked. Every day my wife comes to tell me, when will you go and get a job? Go and get a job. And that she can't be taking care of a man. I'm paying for the mortgage in that place. I'm paying for the mortgage of the house. And what do you think? I'm coming back to Nigeria. I think I need to come and start afresh. I've made a big mistake of my life. The children. So something happened, and last year he got the last one back to Nigeria when he lost his mom. The wife said she wasn't coming. The first son said he wasn't going to come. He was sad. He lost his own mother. So he was able to convince the small one. He said when the youngest one came here, it was like he was in prison. The guy was angry, he swore at him, he cried, he threatened. This is somebody he put in a hotel, then took him to an Airbnb, a comfortable place. But that's not the story. The story is that what is happening to Nigerian marriages? People who were sweethearts in Nigeria and suddenly become strangers in Canada, USA, Australia. Today I just want to share about 5 points that men should consider, especially men and women as well. Talking about women, a friend's wife reached out and said, look, your friend took care of everything. In fact, my boutique business that I used to work, he gave me the money, he gave me 20 million to set up a boutique in Nigeria. Now we relocated, I'm doing a little job, he is doing it. He wants us to share 50-50. I cannot go 50-50 with your friend. He took care of everything. And the man goes, why can't you go 50-50? She said, I didn't sign up for this. The guy said, and I told her, look, when your husband was in Nigeria, probably his salary was 3 million. On the side deal, he was doing another 4 million. From a side deal. Abroad, there is no side deal. The only side deal you get is side hustle. And which either be a job, investment, or something. And since it's just settling, she said, no, she's not going to do 50-50. So I want to share a few points for some men. If you're thinking of relocating with your wife, put that into consideration. And as well, a wife, you're looking as a family. Because it wasn't like this 20, 30 years ago, or even 15 years ago when we went. Now, some of these people are my mates, a lot of them. And I'm looking about 10 of my friends. If I look at 10, about 4 have left their wives. They've separated. So what is happening? I know it's happening in Nigeria, but the rate of divorce in diaspora is a lot. So please, if you're in diaspora, maybe I'm clueless, maybe things have changed from my own time. What is really going on? What is going on? If you're in diaspora, what is going on? All right. So I'm just going to share a few points of mine, what I think. Okay. What I think is number one is identity crisis for men. Okay. A man who was once a boss in Nigeria, a manager, a leader of people, all of a sudden he sees himself as a factory worker, delivery driver, cleaner, stuffing shelf, Uber driver. The title disappears. His ego, please, women, put that into consideration. His ego crashes. His confidence dies. He's now questioning his purpose. He withdraws emotionally. He withdraws. So the lady that said she lost her husband, and he thinks, and the woman will be like, he enters depression. And the woman will be like, and the wife will think he has changed. Life humbled him. He didn't change. Life humbled him. A man who was doing so well in Nigeria and he moved to give his children a good life. Number two, talking about children. Children know boundaries and communities in Africa. But abroad, it's not like that. Abroad, kids have rights without responsibility. Yes, they have rights. They tell you it's my right. You can't do this to me, daddy. Okay. System can override parents. Yes, the system. Social workers, they can show up anytime, all right, and tell you can't do that. They mock, some of them mock their parents' accent. Like my friend was saying that children were saying he pronounces certain things funny. These are children that just left 7 years ago. They adapt quicker, yes. They challenge their parents' authority. They are and parents become very confused. They're like, "Ah, how do we raise African children in the Western system?" That's another thing you should consider. These are the things you have to talk with your partner. Now, another one is um, in Nigeria, okay, there's a social system. The husband pays most time between 70 and 100% of the things. Hardly will you see a home that the husband does only 50. There are, but there are few. Okay. Abroad rent, their rent is expensive, mortgage is expensive, there is childcare. Everyone must work to pay the bills. Everyone must work to pay the bills. It's all of a sudden it becomes 650-50. You do the mortgage, I'll do the utility, I'll do this, I'll do this. Somebody must be done. So if your husband is an odogu in Nigeria, most times either he's still getting those things that make him an odogu from Nigeria. But if he's based there, he wants to also there, most times it's going to be challenging. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's going to, if you're really encouraging an honest, hardworking man who is truthful, except you push him into fraud. This is for the women, okay? So that's that part. Now, the wife, the wife will now question, why should I give submit someone who's not providing 100%? He used to be an odogu in Nigeria. This is for the wife. You have to question yourself, why shouldn't you? Things have changed. Things have changed. It's no more like it used to be. And the man will start questioning, after all I've done for this family, after all I've done, and these things lead to misunderstanding. Money. Okay. I have a friend who, before he left with his wife, and he had a very good job. He was skeptical about going. We told him, don't worry, go. And when he got there, he was lucky enough, he got an IT job, he's into IT. He did very well. The wife and now encouraged his wife to go and go to school. And she went to school, did a crash course for 3 years. From what we're hearing, the wife is out, she got another job, and she's doing better than the man. The man has lost the job, and for some reason, he's been doing Uber for the past, for some time now. Things haven't been as they've been. Guess what? They've separated. And please, this is not for me to blame anybody, whether woman or man. I'm just telling people that have not traveled before, they're about traveling as a family, to understand that it's not the way it is in Nigeria. You guys have to plan your contingencies. How do we take care of the bills? Who works? What's the strategy? With that, there's an understanding of what to expect. If not, there's so much expectation from the men and there's under expectation from the women. And for some reason, I found out that women find it quicker to get a job to settle in because they can accept whatever. But a man who's reached a certain level in Nigeria finds it hard to take certain job. So I just want to advise couples that are traveling, in order to take your, put it in your consultant's hand. It goes beyond my marriage is covered by the blood and it shall not happen to me, it can happen to them. No. You and your partner have to cry, what's the strategy for the kids? What's the strategy for job? How do we do our income? Plan all this. Most people don't plan it. That is why immediately they get there, there's a big problem. My name is Samuel. I just wanted to make it short. If you're in diaspora, you've shared, or you have an experience, or you know someone, please kindly leave a comment. Let me understand what is going on really. What is going on with diaspora marriages? Are these not the same people that were loving and caring, or was it fake in Nigeria? Thank you. Stay blessed.